Hello and welcome to Let's Get Real. I'm your host Piyush Jha. Let's start with a big story of this week. Nitish Kumar is once again the CM of Bihar.
Nitish Kumar once again took over as the Chief Minister of Bihar with the BJP's support, leaving the opposition Grand Alliance in tatters and raising questions over its ability to counter the Saffron Party in the 2019 general elections. In just 14 hours after Nitish Kumar resigned to break ranks with his allies, Lalu Yadav's RJD and the Congress, he was back in the office after being sworn in by Bihar governor at the Raj Bhavan.
The only person to receive more criticism than Nitish this week for jumping ships shamelessly was Theon Greyjoy. Nitish became Bihar's CM for the 6th time on Thursday. 6 times in 12 years. Nitish has become CM so many times that during the swearing-in ceremony, even the governor was like, you know the drill, dude. I mean, can't I simply take a day off? In a hilarious piece of news, the Indian army actually imported stink bombs from Israel to wave off mobs in Kashmir. These stink bombs have been used by the Israeli army in Palestinian territories for years. But there was only one problem.
The government decided to use non-deadly weapons in Kashmir on protesters instead of pellet guns, as it took many lives last year. To deal with protesters in the valley, New Delhi decided to import stink bombs from Israel in the hope that it could help disperse angry crowds without injuring them. However, the CRPF, after testing these stink bombs, declared that the bombs were not stinky enough to disperse Indian crowds.
That's right. The CRPF forces actually tested this bomb in Delhi by spraying this over members of the general public, and guess what? No one moved an inch. The bomb was declared not stinky enough for India. The Huffington Post reported that the bombs smell like decomposed bodies and raw sewage, or as Indians call it, the smell of fresh air. There was good news for artistic freedom in India this week.
The Supreme Court on 27th of July refused to stay the release of filmmaker Madhur Bhandarkar's movie Indu Sarkar, which deals with the emergency imposed in 1975 by former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. The movie is an artistic expression within the parameters of law, said the bench while dismissing the plea of Priya Singh Paul. The court ruled that movies as artistic expressions are thus allowed to dramatize historical events. The court dismissed the petition that claimed that Indu Sarkar showed former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in a bad light.
Good. What a stupid petition it was in the first place. How can you make a movie about the emergency period that doesn't show Indira Gandhi in a bad light? That's like filing a petition complaining that Harry Potter movie showed Voldemort in a bad light. That's kind of the point, right? Also, movies are not documentaries. They do dramatize historical facts, and that's what makes it watchable. Take the Titanic, for example. The love story is obviously false. Do you really think any girl will separate with a super rich millionaire in order to date a guy who's broken and whose only skills include drawing other women naked and spitting over really long distances? Only in movies, guys. Let's move on to international news. One shocking trend that has been happening that is several Southeast Asian countries are pursuing violent drug wars. We all know how Duterte's regime in Philippines committed thousands of extrajudicial killings of drug dealers. Now, Indonesian President Joko Widodo is following suit.
Indonesian President Joko Widodo has instructed his country's police force to shoot drug dealers on sight, stoking fears that Indonesia may soon copy the famously brutal drug war deployed in the Philippines by President Rodrigo Duterte.
He actually cited Duterte as one of his inspirations. Talk about having a bad role model. But hear this, the National Police Chief General of Indonesia, Tito Karnavian, defended the president's statement in the most ridiculous of fashions by saying, and I quote, "From practice in the field, we see that when we shoot at drug dealers, they go away." No shit, Sherlock. They actually claim this type of brutal war is necessary as the country is in a drug-related public health emergency. Yes, these drug addicts are slowly killing themselves by taking these harmful substances. So we'll just speed up the process by shooting them in the head. In other news, here's the latest stupid decision made by Donald Trump.
President Trump is banning transgender people from the United States military. He says it's because the military can't be, quote, burdened with the tremendous medical costs and disruption that transgender in the military would entail, end quote.
Yes, Donald Trump has banned transgenders from serving in the US military because of medical costs. Medical? I mean, I think the whole thing is a misunderstanding. Donald, this is not what the doctor meant when he asked you to remove trans fats. Also, this is especially disappointing as Trump assured people before the elections that he'll protect the LGBT rights.
Only weeks ago, in Orlando, Florida, 49 wonderful Americans were savagely murdered by an Islamic terrorist. This time, the terrorist targeted LGBTQ community. As your president, I will do everything in my power to protect our LGBTQ citizens from the violence and oppression of a hateful foreign ideology. Believe me.
Yes. How dare these hateful Islamists oppress the LGBT community? That's my job. Also, notice how he says, believe me, at the end of the statement, like he's almost begging. Watch again.
To protect our LGBTQ citizens from the violence and oppression of a hateful foreign ideology. Believe me.
Please believe me. In fact, he uses those words a lot in case you haven't noticed.
We're going to knock the hell out of ISIS, believe me. Members of her team were caught saying the one person she doesn't want to run against is Trump. Believe me, it will be fun. The only time I really started on her was 2 months ago, and believe me, her and Bill had a bad evening. Believe me. Believe me. They can't even believe it. He still didn't believe me, but believe me, it is, okay? Believe me, folks. Believe me.
The only people who say believe me before every sentence are people who themselves know that they are full of shit, okay? In other news this week, North Korea celebrated Victory Day. Yes, it was 64 years on since the Korean War.
North Koreans on Thursday celebrated Victory Day, which marks the 64th year since the Korean War. North Korean officials said the nation suffered at the hands of US imperialists for ages and blamed them for the war, even though it was actually the North that invaded the South. Officials even promised to take revenge on the South Korean and US imperialists.
Yes, North Korean newspapers carried a commentary saying America's final ruin was already sealed and it had only one way out: to kneel and apologize in front of the North Korean army and people. Okay, you want America to kneel before you? What world do North Koreans think we're living in? Westeros? Do they actually think Trump will kneel before them? That's not possible. Not only because of his giant ego, I don't think he can bend all the way down. A controversy about Karnataka wanting to have its own state flag has garnered a lot of attention over the past few weeks.
The Karnataka government has set up a 9-member panel to design a separate flag for the state. And if such a proposal is approved, Karnataka would be the second state to have a separate flag after Jammu and Kashmir.
Yes, a lot of people are critical of this move as they view this as an attempt to subvert India's national unity.
Meanwhile, the BJP has scoffed at the proposal of a separate flag. BJP leader and Union Minister D.V. Sadanand Gowda has said India is one nation and cannot have two flags in one country.
Wait, what? India already has a lot of other flags in case you haven't noticed. Political parties have their own flags. Siddaramaya's own Congress party has an outstretched hand. Presumably the number of fingers is a metaphor for the number of states Congress still has a chance in. And even sports teams have their own flags. Karnataka's own Royal Challengers Bangalore has this flag. What the hell is a Lannister lion doing in an RCB's flag? It just doesn't belong there. Because if there's one thing we know about Vijay Mallya, it's that he never pays his debts. Getting back to the point, the only state right now that's allowed to have a flag at present is Jammu and Kashmir. So in case states are getting their own flags, we at Let's Get Real have suggestions as to what those flags should really look like. You want to see them? Okay. For the mighty state of Punjab, we propose this flag. Orange, gold and white. The orange represents butter chicken, gold represents the excessive bling you see in a Punjabi wedding, and the white represents the purity of the smack you get in the state. You know what I mean, right? Meanwhile, we propose this for UP. We propose this for Delhi. just to warn people who are entering. Tamil Nadu will have the simplest flag. Yes, Tasmaks are an appropriate symbol for the state. After all, the only way people can still vote for Dravidian parties is if they are drunk out of their wits. We recommend one unified flag for all 8 northeastern states. We are located here. Andhra Pradesh should have this. And meanwhile, Telangana should have this flag. Yes, Dumbos, we're a separate state now. Meanwhile, we feel this should be the perfect flag for Goa. Yes, if Carlsberg made states, they'd look like this. But we all know what they really do, don't we? They make pointless rhetoric ads that end with questions. Mumbai. We all know Mumbai is not a state, but it deserves a flag. So it should be this. Yes, this flag represents the spirit of Mumbaikars. They really love hanging out. Mumbaikars are really nice people, guys. In fact, you're as likely to meet a rude person in Mumbai as you're to find an empty seat on a local train, which is pretty rare. Alright guys, we'll be going for a short break right now, and on the other side, we deconstruct artificial intelligence. Welcome back. Two very famous and widely loved tech icons had a public spat this week. I'm talking about Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. The controversy basically started with Elon Musk coming out and calling for preemptively regulating artificial intelligence.
I have exposure to the very most cutting edge AI, and I think people should be really concerned about it. AI is a fundamental risk to the existence of human civilization. AI is a rare case where I think we need to be proactive in regulation instead of reactive.
So he wants to regulate artificial intelligence even before we have artificial intelligence. I'm not very surprised though. Elon has a habit of making outlandish claims, like when he claimed this.
Elon Musk, the popular founder and CEO of SpaceX and Tesla Motors, shocked the world when he claimed all of us are almost certainly living inside a Matrix-type simulation.
Okay, first of all, if we are living in a Matrix, I hope it's the original and not Matrix Reloaded. The second part was rubbish. What a disappointment. Anyway, Mark Zuckerberg sharply criticized Elon Musk for his statement on the need to regulate AI. Zuckerberg labeled Elon's comments irresponsible while doing a Facebook Live.
With AI especially, I'm really optimistic, and I think that people who are naysayers and kind of try to drum up these doomsday scenarios are I don't understand it. I think it's really negative, and in some ways I actually think it's pretty irresponsible, because in the next 5 to 10 years, AI is going to deliver so many improvements in the quality of our lives.
Yes, and AI is also going to deliver a lot of improvements to Zuckerberg's bank balance. But Elon Musk hit back at Mark when asked about this on Twitter. He wrote, "I've talked to Mark about this and his understanding of the subject is limited." Oh, snap. I believe Facebook just changed its relationship status with SpaceX to "it's complicated." Who would have thought that these two super busy billionaires would have the time for a social media feud? Elon, come on man, don't you have better things to do with your time? Like making sure at least one of your rockets actually take off. Yes, SpaceX has had so many failed launch attempts that ISIS is now taking responsibility for them. And Mark, I thought you were a bigger man than this. You pledged 99% of Facebook shares to charity. Meanwhile, most of us can't even get 99 shares for our Facebook post. So who is right and who is wrong in this debate about artificial intelligence? Ladies and gentlemen, let's deconstruct artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is basically the characteristics of intelligence demonstrated by machines that closely mirror human cognitive activity like learning and critical thinking. Things like smartphones and video games are all examples of AI. But these are specific AIs that are really good at one thing but can't really do other tasks. Your chess computer can beat you 10 times straight at chess, but it can't play Ludo. However, what scientists are trying to build now is an AGI, or Artificial General Intelligence, which can demonstrate intelligence over a wide range of different activities. Basically, a general intelligence is a machine that can learn how to learn and hence keep getting more and more intelligent on their own. Now, building this type of AI has many benefits to human beings.
Potential benefits are huge, since everything that civilization has to offer is a product of human intelligence. What they're saying is how AI might change the way we live, work, and affect the planet. AI could solve problems in ways we can't conceive, and if done right, might create a better, safer world for us in the process.
Yes, once we have general intelligence that can learn and come up with new solutions on its own, we as a species will be able to make great strides in solving our problems, including poverty, diseases, wars, and even complex problems like efficient governance and man-made climate change. So AI is basically like a glass of Jack Daniels. It could literally be a solution to every single problem in life, right? There's just one tinsy-wincy issue though. There's a small chance that we might end up destroying the entire human race. At least some people think so.
I do think we have to worry about it. I don't think it's inherent that as we create superintelligence that it will necessarily always have the same goals in mind that we do. I think the dialogue along those levels, the people who say let's not worry at all, I don't agree with that.
But I think the development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race. Humans, who are limited by slow biological evolution, couldn't compete and would be superseded.
First of all, Stephen Hawking criticizing artificial intelligence is a bit like Lil Wayne complaining about objectifying women. I mean, the guy is basically half android at this point, right? In fact, rumor has it that Stephen Hawking had his first erection in 20 years thanks to someone finally disabling his pop-up blocker. Here's the thing. If Elon Musk, Stephen Hawking and Bill Gates all collectively talk in such hyperbolic language, it's officially time to shit your pants. However, despite so many smart people warning us of the dangers of AI, most people just don't seem bothered about it.
I don't fear. The question assumes that that's going to happen. Now, maybe we feel that way because every movie that shows artificial intelligence has that happen, all right? So, but I'm fearless about this.
You know, recently there have been a lot of people talking about the potential dangers of artificial intelligence in our future. Hollywood has really run away with this concept. Just take a look at Avengers. It all takes the form of Ultron.
It is fabulous science fiction premise to create a machine that will kill you. And I very much enjoyed Ex Machina, but I remind us that if we can build a computer smart enough to figure out that it needs to kill us, we could unplug it.
Hollywood has overused the concept of robots coming back to destroy man so much that it's now being viewed as something that can only happen in science fiction. Just look at the number of movies that have an AI-induced doomsday theme. Ex Machina, Matrix, iRobot, Avengers, Transformers, Robocop, Bicentennial Man, Transcendence, Metropolis, Tron, Moon, The Machine, Ghost in the Shell, Automata, A Space Odyssey, Short Circuit, Blade Runner, The Machine, and frickin' WALL-E. Yes, psycho robot movies are as frequent in Hollywood as expensive divorce settlements. Thanks to Hollywood movies milking the subject so much, people think this sort of thing is just pure science fiction and could never happen in real life. But think about it. Hollywood has actually predicted a lot of stuff before. Hollywood had a black president at a time when the only thing black about American presidents was their money. You've Got Mail predicted online dating, Minority Report predicted facial recognition technology, Total Recall predicted driverless cars, Network predicted tabloid journalism, while the Planet of the Apes brilliantly foresaw how the world was going to be led by a gorilla. So if Hollywood's track record in predicting things is anything to go by, the negatives of artificial intelligence is worth looking into.
We still have to worry about the political and economic effects of building something that's going to put the better part of humanity out of work, right? I mean, you're talking about now something that can build further iterations of itself, where the cost of building versions of itself now is going to plummet to more or less the cost of raw materials. You're talking about a labor-saving device of a sort that no one has ever anticipated. And we don't have a political system that can absorb that.
The first problem that AI could lead to is large-scale unemployment. Whether we like it or not, robots will soon replace humans across the workforce as everything gets automated. But you might ask, Piyush, if everything gets automated, wouldn't that be good for us? We don't have to work so hard anymore. It could free us all to do something productive and fulfilling, right? Wrong. In the current economic and political system, the only thing automation will free us up to do is to starve. Yes, low-skilled workers are already feeling the pinch of AI, as it has slowly gobbled up more and more manufacturing jobs over the past few years. Just look at self-driving cars, for example. Early tests already confirm that they are much more safer and efficient than human drivers. This could potentially put millions of people around the world out of work. Even India's Union Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari is himself aware of the problem when he said, and I quote, "We won't allow driverless cars in India. I'm very clear on this. We won't allow any technology that takes away jobs." First of all, Minister, if you want to ban technology that stops people from getting jobs, you should start with tattoo machines. Besides, artificial intelligence already can transcribe and translate languages faster and better than any other human. They can trade stocks better than any other human being using complex algorithms. In fact, there are even AIs that can do jobs that need a lot of creativity. Stuff that, we thought only humans can do. AIs can write op-eds, poetry, and even make movies. In fact, recently an AI machine was launched which could write and deliver stand-up comedy.
Two chemists walk into a bar. The first chemist says, "I'll have some H2O." Drinks it. Second chemist says, "I'll have some H2O too." Drinks it. Drops dead. Get it? H2O2? Hydrogen peroxide? Instead of the adverb to the bartender.
Okay, I honestly don't know how to feel considering that joke received a louder laugh than any of my jokes did. So it's clear that even my job is under threat. So from the next episode on, instead of Let's Get Real with Piyush Jha, it's going to be Let's Get Real with Android 86B321. There's another major problem with AI.
But imagine we just built a super intelligent AI, right, that was no smarter than your average team of researchers at Stanford or MIT. Well, electronic circuits function about 1,000,000 times faster than biochemical ones. Okay, so this machine should think about 1,000,000 times faster than the minds that built it. So you set it running for a week, and it will perform 20,000 years of human-level intellectual work, week after week after week. How could we even understand, much less constrain, a mind making this sort of progress?
If you're thinking, well, we'll just program the AI to make sure it always has our interests in mind, then I'm sorry, but that's unlikely to work either.
Suppose we give an AI the goal to make humans smile. When the AI is weak, it performs useful or amusing actions that cause its user to smile. When the AI becomes super intelligent, it realizes that there is a more effective way to achieve this goal. Take control of the world and stick electrodes into the facial muscles of humans to cause constant beaming grins. Now, of course, these are cartoon examples. But the general point here is important. If you create a really powerful optimization process to maximize for objective X, you better make sure that your definition of X incorporates everything you care about.
That's the problem. It's very difficult to program in right values and goals because any value, when taken to its logical extreme, can be used to justify horrible things. For a simple example, suppose you ask the AI to stop spam. Well, one way of stopping spam would be murdering all human beings. No humans, no spam. Unless you program it to the AI that murdering 8 billion people is not a viable strategy for stopping spam, the AI wouldn't know. Now this might seem like a trivial example, but think about it. No matter what goal you program into an AI, a super intelligent AI might develop intermediate or instrumental goals that are hard to predict. If you think this is fear-mongering, it's not. None of these critics of AI are calling for AI research or development to stop. People like Elon Musk want it to be regulated beforehand, as regulating the market afterhand might become a challenge. Yes, basically if you come around to regulation when the robot army is marching down the street, it's probably too late to do anything. So even if there's 1% chance that this might go wrong, wouldn't it make sense to tread cautiously? Again, I expect most of you are still not convinced. You're probably thinking, forget building artificial general intelligence, they can't even get Siri to work properly. And that's true. In case you didn't know, this is the response Siri gives when asked, what is 0 divided by 0?
What is 0 divided by 0? Imagine that you have 0 cookies and you split them evenly among 0 friends. How many cookies does each person get? See, it doesn't make sense. And Cookie Monster is sad that there are no cookies. And you are sad that you have no friends.
Hey, screw you, Siri. I have friends. I'm only weak at mathematics. Alright guys, if you still aren't convinced that artificial intelligence might be a threat, what's happening? Guys, what's happening? Guys, what's happening? Are you guys doing this? What the f, man?